Can the Minnesota Vikings keep it rolling, or can the Tennessee Titans pull off a major upset? We'll break it down on Crossover Thursday, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
You are Locked On NFL Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Football fans, welcome into another edition of Crossover Thursday. Locked On Titans, Locked On Vikings. We're going to be breaking down this matchup. Crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Download the app. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. I am host of Locked On Titans, Tyler Rowland, here with my guy, the brain, Luke Braun, the host of Locked On Vikings. Going to be going over the big stories in this game, doing some predictions as to what will win this game for either team towards the end of the episode. Thank you for making Locked On Titans and Locked On Vikings your first listen. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. But Luke, we're going to jump right in to the Vikings side of this. And I would be asking you this anyway, but we got a little article from ESPN saying that Sam Darnold could be a guy to watch for the Titans in free agency. So for multiple reasons, this game and the future.
It's a scouting move, huh?
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us the lowdown on future Titans legend, Sam Darnold.
He's what he says on the box, man. It's been, I think, better in September than it has been lately. I think he's honestly coming off his worst game of the year against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Where the ball placement was just messed up. So he might be in a funk, or maybe that's just a one-game thing. Here's the skinny on Sam Darnold, though. He can throw to every level. He makes you defend every blade of grass. He's got enough athleticism to also have that threat, just a scramble threat, not in the way of Lamar Jackson or anything like that. But he'll run around enough where you have to worry about your lanes. And so that's another thing that stresses out a defense. All those things are great. That's why he went third overall. He just doesn't protect the ball. You're just going to have, you'll see it. Your defense is going to get 2 or 3 turnovers. You just will. Like, you just set your watch by it. You will get 2 or 3 turnovers in this game. And they'll probably mostly be Sam Darnold's fault. It's just what he does. It's what is preventing him from being someone's franchise QB. But as like a 1-year bridge into something else, we'll take that. We're perfectly happy with that. It is, I would say, astronomically improbable that the Vikings re-up with him after the year. They've got JJ McCarthy. They're happy with that. Right. No, doesn't sound like he got surgery. He got an injection.
Yeah, another surgery. JJ McCarthy's ruined.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was misreported, I think, is what that sounds like, by the way, for Vikings fans who are freaking out about that. It was a fairly routine part of meniscus rehab. So, but anyways, yeah. So if you want him in your building, I think that's a great veteran presence to compete with a rookie that you are going to be okay with benching halfway through the year once your rookie is better. I think that's the perfect place for him in the league. What you end up paying for that is probably not that much as quarterbacks go. But all of that, he's so good at having a game where he plays 25 of 28 reps beautifully and then turns the ball over on the other 3. And you have to go well, what do we make of that?
Right. That makes it tough. And listen, Titans fans know a lot about a guy who likes to give the ball away. And speaking of that, you look at this Vikings defense. I don't think it's some state secret that the Vikings like to bring pressure. I believe they blitz at a 40% rate, second highest in the NFL. And the Titans allow pressure at the highest rate in the NFL against the blitz. 53% of the time against the blitz, the Titans allow pressure. So just how bad is this going to be with Brian Flores' blitz scheme? Just how ugly is it going to be?
Sometimes they walk into these games against porous O-lines or, teams that have pressure issues, and they don't blitz at all. And they just say, well, actually, we think we can just get there with force, so we're going to do that. Right. And they'll simulate pressure. They'll make Will Levis, really struggle with what he's looking at and really try to post-snap read it out. Everything will be disguised. You basically get no good information pre-snap unless you can really crack the code in the week for what you think you're going to get. I actually think the Lions did a good job of that, but you have to be really on it. What they like to do is they like to zone cover behind their blitzes. That's what's weird about it. You get a lot of other blitz-heavy teams throughout history would be in man coverage, need good corners. Yep. They zone cover it. So there's a lot of cover 4 with 2 guys underneath. There's a lot of 3 and 3. And those coverages all will have holes in them. There are fewer guys and it's zone. There will be space to throw to. You have to find that space. But I guess it comes to, and I'll want to circle back to this with you when we talk more about the Titans in detail, what the blitz plan is for your offense, whether it's try to get the ball out quick, whether it's max protect and try to block it up, like what the actual answer is, will I think kind of determine what kind of adjustments and plans we see throughout. But as much as the Vikings offense has turned it over, the Vikings defense has essentially gone blow for blow, getting the ball back, sometimes in rapid succession with each other. So we've seen a few games this year that are like the turnover battle is 4-3 or 3-3, and things are going back and forth. Getting pressure on that quarterback. But if you can block it up, or if you have a quarterback that can get the ball out in time or create with his legs or whatever, if you have a way to parry that blitz away, then you get like 2 or 3 coverages every single play. Like the variety post-snap is not really a lot because all the variety is pre-snap. And then there comes these opportunities to maybe find a hole in it.
Well, I'm not very confident in the Titans' ability to find a hole in that defense. I guess I'll ask you this way, speaking of holes, if a team were to beat the Vikings, what do you think that looks like?
I mean, look at the two teams that have, with Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. I don't know if this is going to be Levis, but those two guys got the ball out on time very well. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of extra blockers, so the blitzes were a lot easier to sort out. And they used concepts that they knew were going to attack the coverages that they got, because the punish to that, right? If you keep 8 people into block and you only have 3 routes, well, then suddenly you don't really have an advantage against a 6-man zone coverage anymore. There's 6 tier 3. They can all sort that out and figure it out. So you have to run the concepts that are true beaters for those. That's all on tape, right? Like, and I'm sure that Brian Callahan will have those ready to go. So I'm sure you'll have your beaters, but the ball has to be out on time. You have to have your pressure answer. And then I think the game looks like it, and they've all kind of been these kind of swingy. The Vikings play really bad for one half and then really good in the second half, or vice versa, where, it's kind of never over and it's streaky and it's swingy. And then if you just get the right bounce on the ball and you get the right things, then, you can steal one away. But it really has to start with the offense has to be functional under pressure, and whether that means blitzes or whether that's, Jonathan Grenard on whoever getting pressure. You have to be functional under pressure. If pressure breaks the whole thing down, then it gets really hard to move the ball, and you have to kind of find other ways to do it, or you have to find a way to run the ball on them against too high, which is also a thing that you can do a lot of. They'll be too high a lot.
Will Levis is in danger. That's all I know about that. But we're going to talk more about
I got to know about this, danger. Man.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that right now. It's Crossover Thursday, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Hillsdale College. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend your time wisely to improve yourself? Well, our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free, that's right, free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced, so you can start whenever, tune in wherever. Plus, you can go even deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just enjoy the lectures. Make sure that you go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. All right, you could start the second half of the NFL season in a big way on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. And folks, I'm just telling you, drive bets against the Titans here, betting for the Titans to punt, betting for a turnover, live bet on I'm just saying, You can make some decent money that way. When you get your hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. And Vikings money line sounds like a pretty good $5 bet to start with. Go to FanDuel.com, never waste a hunch, and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Luke, it is time to talk Tennessee Titans. We've gone through Sam Darnold for the Vikings. What's he been like this year? Talked about the blitzing defense of Brian Flores, who wants to be an NFL head coach again. And I think he'll probably get the opportunity this offseason unless the NFL is conspiring against him, which
they might be, man. It's political, okay? It's political.
Right now. Definitely is. But something that's not political is the Tennessee Titans, because whether you're on this side or that
the
side,
apolitical Tennessee Titans.
They are not very good this year. But
radical centrist Tennessee.
Will Levis, had his best game of the year. No turnovers, took a bunch of sacks, but hey, it's still his best game of the year nonetheless. I'm curious to see what you are wondering about with this Titans team.
Well, so I haven't paid any attention to good old Billy Blue Jeans since the draft. Is he just like a turnover machine? Because like the only thing I've seen about him is that every week he generates a funnier screenshot than the week before. But that's is it just everything is a circus, or am I just only seeing those plays? Or like, give me the Levis shtick. I know your fans have probably heard it a million times. I haven't. Give me the Levis spiel.
He didn't do a meme last week. He just played.
The streak is broken.
Right. He just played regular old okay quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it was just a regular old, I'm not a great quarterback, but hey, I played out there. Look, he's got a huge arm. He can get the ball down the field. He can throw with velocity. He's got plus mobility. Like he's not a statue in the pocket. He can run around. The Titans used him on a couple design runs last week. There was a fake, a fake jet sweep into QB lead. There was a QB sweep on 3rd and 2 with 2 pullers out in front of him. Like, he's got that stuff. He really does, but he just does not process quick enough, whether it be, holding on to the ball too long and taking sacks, whether it be not getting the ball out on time for somebody who's open. And then by the time that he throws it, it's just not as open, whether it be, so that's the main problem is the processing time and getting the ball out of his hands on time. And he just doesn't have that. Luke, he was like a running back and a linebacker who was taught to play quarterback because he was the best athlete on the team. He does not have natural quarterback instincts, like some of the best, like a Joe Burrow or a CJ Stroud who just float around in the pocket. And you can tell that they've been doing this since they were a little kid. He doesn't have that timer in his head of, hey, I can't. On the tape last week, he would take a third hitch. So he would hit the back of his drop, hit the back foot. He would hitch up, ball needs to be out, and he'd take another hitch up. And it's like, you don't get 3, Will. You don't get 3. You don't have time.
That's forever. Unless you're going through like a whole progression. It's like hitch to 1, hitch to 2, hitch to 3. But
that's not the plan though. He's just climbing the pocket and holding on to the ball too long. He has to make that decision in his head of, and a lot of people are like, oh, everybody was mad that Will Levis was getting rid of the ball so quick against Indianapolis and wasn't throwing the ball downfield. Now everybody's mad that he's holding on to the ball and taking sacks. It's like, yes, I do need you to thread that needle. It's called playing NFL quarterback. You can't get rid of the ball so quick that you take nothing downfield. And
it ain't the Big 12 anymore, kid.
You also can't hold on to it so long that you take sacks. Nobody said that the job was hard. That's why they get paid $50 million if you're even competent to do it. So he just has to develop a better sense, and he's 25. So is he going to develop that sense? It's probably too late for that to happen, but he is a smart guy. Scholastically, he was really intelligent. Maybe he can figure that out. But outside of that being the biggest issue, there are some plays where he's just a little inaccurate. There are there was a 3rd and 6 out route, isolated coverage, wide receiver is open on the sideline, and he just throws it 2 yards short and dirts it into the ground. And it's like, you just can't miss on those. You just can't. So he's okay. He had his best game of the year, but some of the struggles that he has as a player at 25 years old, I just don't know. I just don't know if the feel and the instincts come if they haven't come already.
Well, it's going to be definitely under a lot of fire, right? And
Yes.
so I would guess that if that's your quarterback, if I'm trying to prepare this game and I'm the Titans, I would probably say, okay, we just got to have like 7-8 in protection all the time. And
that's going to be their plan. I was going to
try to win
that
running the ball. Tony Pollard,
end,
he's given the Vikings fits in the past as a Cowboy. But I'm actually the thing I really do have a concern in this game about the Titans defense, because the Vikings offense has been in a weird spot, red zone turnovers. They've had, they haven't scored as much as they probably should have in the last couple games against other rough AFC South teams.
Right.
And this Titans defense is good, right? I mean, Jeffrey Simmons, you got a good secondary. Like, what is the identity of this Titans defense? All I know is it has a good reputation, but I don't really know the nature of it.
Well, what the Titans like to do is they disguise. I mean, that they love two high shells rolling down into cover 3. They're going to roll that safety down to the passing strength, try to take away like a crosser or an in route on the front side. That's what they like to do.
Justin Jefferson on the backside and then really stress that, huh? Like on the weak side.
Well, I'm sure that will be the plan. And right now, L'Jarius Sneed is out. He's been out for a while with a quad issue. Cheeto Awuzie, the Titans' other starting cornerback, has been out. They have the number one pass defense in the NFL, and they're playing a rookie, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., out of Louisville at one corner spot, and Darrell Baker, who was cut by the Colts with their cornerback situation. But they've played pretty solid. I mean, they obviously on the inside, Roger McCreary is a slot corner. He's one of the best slot corners in the NFL. Very underrated player. He's great. But what the Titans want to do is they want to use their linebackers in pressure packages. They want to confuse you. They want to show this. They want to drop out here, and they want to roll their coverage in the back end and kind of force you into throwing into where they're rolling to and hoping to create some turnovers that way. They didn't have a lot of turnovers during the beginning of the year, but they got 3 against the Patriots. They've been able to do a little bit better here recently with that. Didn't get one against the Chargers, unfortunately, and that, obviously makes a big difference when the offense isn't doing what it needs to do. But yeah, I would say that it's different from the Vikings, who are a big cover 4, cover 2 team. They play a ton of cover 2 and cover 4. The Titans are a ton of cover 4 man, where the outside corners are playing man, and you got cover 4 from the safeties on the inside, and they play a lot of cover 3 too.
Move, then.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that Mike McDonald Ravens defense, really.
Okay, that's fascinating. That's all very cool to talk about and chew on. But so then, what does that mean? The plan would be for somebody like Justin Jefferson or other teams that maybe you've faced that have like a very clear number one guy that they're going to feed, that's going to get all the targets, whether it's, I don't remember the Titans schedule, but like a Devontae Adams or somebody like the Bengals with Jamar Chase. Like what is the preferred plan? Are we bracketing this guy? Are we, if you got corners hurt, like maybe it would have been trust L'Jarius Sneed, but if he's out, then
the plan would have been is just throw Sneed over there. But you're asking me a question that quite frankly, I don't get paid to answer. Like so what's
like,
the plan against
how else have they
this week?
How else have they handled, big time number one receivers? Because Justin Jefferson's a different breed, but have they not really played? Have they played the Dolphins?
They haven't really played. They played the Dolphins, but Snoop Huntley was at quarterback. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like, you're not going to defend Tyreek Hill the same way as if he had Tua, as if you did there, and they had Sneed in that game as well. So it kind of changes the equation there. If I'm the Titans, what I would do is I would roll that safety down to Justin Jefferson's side. And I would say, just watch him. You know what I mean? I know that Jefferson likes to hit those crossers over the middle of the field. I would just have my cornerback play outside leverage and say, don't give him the sideline. You know what I mean? And then I would have a safety rolling down over the middle. And the Titans do a lot of I know when it's linebackers, it's like banjo coverage, where you pass it off.
Well, that's like if you put in a bunch.
Yeah, so that's the way that I would play it. But if you put Justin Jefferson in a bunch per se, and you bring him in, that outside to inside motion and get him going across, just attack the middle of the field where the linebackers are, because Jack Gibbons and Kenneth Murray are terrible in coverage. So I'm hitting Justin Jefferson underneath in this game and letting him get yards after catch, because the Titans' middle of the field defense, especially with Quandre Diggs out for the year now, you're going to get Mike Brown. And Mike Brown is a solid third safety, but he's not a starting level safety in the NFL. So Amani Hooker's probably going to have to play back deep to not get beat deep on the post from Jordan Addison. You know what I mean? And Justin Jefferson should just have his way over the middle of the field. So I don't get paid to have an answer, and I don't have a good answer for you of how to stop Justin Jefferson. I don't know if Denard Wilson, who gets paid a lot more than me, is going to have one either.
Well, and some teams have, like the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn came out before the game and said, yeah, he's just going to get his yards and we're just going to hope we win the game anyways. And they did.
Yeah.
So like that can kind of be a valid answer, is we're just going to play our normal defense. He's going to get his, we're going to hope we shut everything else down. Or you say maybe we'll bracket him, which is kind of what the Jaguars did all day. Tight ends go off for 140 yards in that game. So there's been, I think, a lot of different people trying, like you can kind of choose your door. It's
Titans
like a
haven't
Monty
played
Hall.
a lot of man lately, though, and I think that has to do with the cornerbacks. They don't want to put their cornerbacks on an island with Darrell Baker and Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So they played more man earlier in the year, not a lot of man lately. So I would be surprised.
Totally makes sense.
I would be surprised if that was the plan, quite honestly.
Yeah. Well, so what Justin Jefferson will do in this game and what everything else will happen in this game, we should probably get into our predictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right about that. Let's talk about what happens. And I got to tell you, it's all about the turnover battle for the Titans. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks makes daily fantasy sports so simple, so easy, and so much fun. That's why they have over 10 million members and have awarded billions of dollars in winnings. All you have to do on PrizePicks is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Again, it's so easy. Here's how it works. PrizePicks has a projection for every single player. Jamar Chase, 79.5 receiving yards. Patrick Mahomes, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 59.5 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley, 79.5 rushing yards. You just pick 2 to 6 players, and like Justin Jefferson, take more on the receiving yards this week, and you say whether they're going to do more or less. Make sure that you download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, Luke, we are going to cap off today's crossover Thursday. Locked on Titans, Locked on Vikings. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. For your second listen, check out Locked on NFL. I'm one of the lead hosts of Locked on NFL. Luke joins me every single Wednesday episode. It's the bad man.
You want to hear me rant about the Bears?
Woo boy. Woo boy. Yeah.
I went off.
Yeah, you guys should definitely check that out. But hey, you get all your Vikings and Titans news in under 30 minutes every day with us. Get your NFL news in under 30 minutes with us. It just makes so much sense. Get subscribed on whatever platform that you watch or listen to the show. But Luke, I'll let you go first as you are the visitors, and that is the format of the show. What are your kind of keys to victory for the Vikings to take care of the Titans and not get upset in this game?
Well, I won't steal yours about the turnovers because I think that really is it. But I think pressure will be big. Whether the Vikings do, like, there's kind of 2 main flavors you'll get. They've kind of Jekyll and Hyde their defense. Sometimes their defense doesn't blitz at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they blitzed much. Well, no, they did blitz Aaron Rodgers a little bit against the Jets, but like in the first parts of the game against the Jaguars, they didn't really blitz. They simmed a lot of pressure. They faked a lot of blitzing, but they did a lot more backing into coverage, tried to win with 4. They ended up adjusting that and going more blitz heavy later in the game, which worked out better. But
I think
sometimes
that'll be the plan for the Vikings, honestly. I think they're going to fake the blitzes just to rattle
sim out and
Levis,
then see if you can't
and then just
force him to throw a dumb turnover.
Yeah, you're keeping in the tight end and the running back to deal with this pressure that we're showing you. And then we get out of it, and now we have 7 people back in the zone. You only have 3 people in the routes. Will Levis is thinking, I got to get rid of the ball because that's the big thing. And then he makes a mistake and just throws it to somebody who isn't open. I honestly think they'll do that early, get him comfortable, and then go to the blitz late.
They like to do that against like quick strike offenses. Like if your answer to the blitz is to throw a slant, they want to back somebody off into your slant window and sort of confuse you that way. And then suddenly you've done quick game, your O-line has done quick game. And if nobody comes open, all that stuff really falls apart because of the way those pass sets are different and the drops are different. And so it falls apart really fast and you can get disruption. But if your answer is to try to block it up and then go deep or something like that, they might just say, okay, we'll just take this on. So I don't know what they're going to do, right? If we did, we'd probably be more involved in podcasting, but whatever that is, it has to get home. It has to get to Will Levis. You have to get Will Levis rattled. Somebody like him, I want to see him out of rhythm. If you let somebody like that get in rhythm and then none of the bad stuff that he's done all year actually comes to fruition in your game, you did a bad job.
Right. Any other keys?
I'm thinking about Justin Jefferson, and so I don't know off the top of my head. I'm looking to see if FanDuel has a receiving prop up yet. They don't. They'd probably just have touchdown scorers.
Yeah, they usually don't put those up until like Friday or Saturday with the player props.
Yeah.
Take
so
the
we're
over.
a little
Does
early
it really
on that.
matter, Luke? Does it matter where they set the line?
The line's at 39.5, and the under kind of looks juicy.
Well, I meant for Justin Jefferson's personal prop. Like, does it really matter?
Well, I was going to say receptions prop, because if you say that maybe it's an underneath thing, maybe it's a lot of 7-yard catches, but not like maybe they go back off, they beat quarters, they don't let up the explosive, but you hopefully get a few like dinks and dunks, which might be a good operation against the Vikings, and say, okay, have a 12-play drive without Sam Darnold doing something idiotic. That might have to be the plan.
Well, the Titans are one of the best teams in the NFL at not allowing explosive pass plays. It's the Darnold Wilson effect, quite honestly, because you look, the Ravens already have allowed more 20-yard pass plays this year than they did all of last year. And Darnold Wilson has been involved with the number one pass defense in the NFL for 3 seasons straight now. The Eagles and then the Ravens last year. Now the Titans are the number one pass defense in the NFL, even with the injuries that we've talked about with 3 starters out in the secondary. They allowed one last week on a flea flicker, but I think the Titans have only allowed, I think it's 5 pass plays of 20 yards or more so far this year.
So they limit explosives. So
yes,
I'm taking under on like all the longest yards ones, huh?
Yeah. I would on that, but I like your idea of the reception. So, I mean, if you're getting Justin Jefferson involved a ton underneath, over the middle against those linebackers in zone coverage, that would absolutely be the play.
Yeah. But so elephant in the room, though, is yours, right? Turnovers.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if the Titans don't win the turnover battle, they stand no chance to win the game. They don't have as good of an offense. And I'm worried about the turnovers. If they can limit the turnovers, I think Will Levis has to use his legs a ton in this game. I think he's got to get out of the pocket. Don't waste time waiting for something to come open against this excellent defensive scheme. If you're getting pressured and there's a little window, tuck the ball and run and get what you can, because if the Titans don't stay on schedule in this game and they're in 3rd and longs, like, they are just cooked, because then Will Levis is going to have to wait for somebody to get open on a deeper route. You can't just, check it down for 3 yards. Tajay Spears, make a man miss. Chigakonkwo, make a man miss, and get a first down and keep the drive going. Like, the Titans are going to have to check down the ball, and the only way that those check downs are going to result in first downs is if you're in 3rd and manageable situation. So really, they have to run the ball great, period. But Will Levis I think they really got to ramp up the Will Levis designed runs in this game, because what the Titans do like to do against pressure, and this is a common thing around the league, I'm sure you've seen, is go 5 wide, because then it's like,
spread everything out and then run on it. Run a QB draw on that.
Yeah. Run QB draw.
All right.
Get Will Levis outside. Like, that's what I would be looking to do, because if they don't run the football and they don't use Will Levis's legs enough, they're going to be in 3rd and long, and then the Vikings can just do what they do best. And when they do that, Will Levis is either going to hold the ball and take sacks, or he's going to try to get rid of it too quick when it's not open yet, and he's going to create turnovers. So 3rd and long is the devil normally, but it's even going to be accentuated in this game. So if the Titans want to win the turnover battle, which they absolutely have to do, teams getting an upset to beat a team that's significantly better than you, you have to win the turnover battle. It's the great equalizer in football.
You need big, explosive, swingy plays. And if you're going to talk about like down and distance too, then the other big thing is, and this has been huge for the Vikings too, is penalties. And the Vikings have had a lot of pre-snap operational issues. They've been in a lot of like 2nd and 1st and 15s.
Same.
So whoever can, I think, pull that together, right? And like, how cliche are we? Turnovers and penalties, right? But
you know what I mean? The Titans are at home, so you would think that that would benefit them in that way.
What are the Titans wearing? Do you know this one?
It's going to be all navy blue.
All navy blue? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if we get the annual all whites for the Vikings, or if they wear their perps over there, their purple pants.
Well, that'll be interesting to see. I love the color combinations, and at this point in the season, that's something that actually brings me joy, seeing the color combinations.
But no, you got it. It's very important. The vibe is very important. I'm a big aesthetics guy. Dress well, test well.
Yeah, well, hey, as Deion Sanders say, what is it? Look good, feel good, play good, they pay good. So with that being said, though, a little fashion advice for you guys to end today's crossover Thursday edition. That's going to do it for me, Tyler Rowland, host of the Locked On Titans, and Luke Braun, host of Locked On Vikings. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. We're going to have a full game preview for you on tomorrow's episode. And then obviously we're going to have some content for you guys after this game ends on Sunday. But with that being said, that's going to do it for us today. You guys take care, and it's going to be a great weekend of football. Everybody enjoy.